And live.
Yo, what up, Knicks Nation? Welcome back to another game of the week preview. We got to preview game 2. New York Knicks took game 1 against the Detroit Pistons after what seemed like it may have been a frustrating one for the New York Knicks. Go on a 21-0 run in the fourth quarter to seal things up. And who better to help preview this game with me for game 2? Another my guy, Koo. He covers the Pistons for Locked On Pistons, so make sure to go check him out over there. And make sure to hit that thumbs up button for your boys. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. Make sure to support our sponsor, Underdog Fantasy. Use that promo code KFTV to get up to $1,000 in instant bonus cash and a free pick. All right, Koo. You're a little quiet backstage, man. You're a little quiet backstage. I know that you're upset, my man, but how are you feeling after yesterday's game?
No, I'm not upset. First of all, thank you guys for having me on. I'm not upset. It was a good game. Kind of mentioned it earlier. The game today was such a blowout, but the Pistons and Knicks actually gave, like, I thought, one of the best games of the playoffs so far. It's only been 2 days, but the game was a lot of fun. I thought it was interesting back and forth. Obviously, it didn't go the way Pistons fans would like. A crazy run in the fourth quarter by the Knicks, but I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good.
All right, man. I'm glad that you're feeling good. To me, that means you still think this thing is going to be a good series. You think that Pistons are going to bounce back in game 2. But before I get you into some Pistons thought, what was your thoughts on how the Knicks performed yesterday? Was there anything that shocked you in what the Knicks did?
I wouldn't say anything that really. I guess the one thing that shocked me was, Tom Thibodeau did a few things that it seemed like, talking with the Knicks fans I had talked with and the shows that I came on, that people were not as confident of him doing. Like, he changed up his rotation a little bit. He played the double big lamp quite a bit in that game. I didn't know if we'd see that as much. But outside of that, no, I don't know if anything they did was surprising. I think a lot of people expected them to come out and throw bodies at Cade, trap Cade, blitz Cade a ton, try to get the ball out of his hands. They played, I mean, the 21-0 run, I guess, was incredibly surprising. Like, you see, like, 21-5 runs, maybe a 12-0 run, like those type of runs. But a 21-0 run, that was pretty crazy. So I guess that kind of shocked me for sure. But as far as game plan and strategy, I wouldn't say anything necessarily shocked me.
Yeah, I think for Knicks fans and just looking at the pulse on social media and just after yesterday's post-game show that we hosted, the biggest thing was the defensive changes. You know, Tibbs typically running drop. He decided to play Cat at the level, blitzing Cade with Cat while OG was on him. That was certainly different. We haven't really seen Tibbs really go to that much blitzing against, a top player. Like, we've seen it do it in spurts throughout the regular season, but to be as aggressive as he was yesterday against Cade Cunningham to get him off his balance, that was certainly impressive. He went 20 minutes with the two bigs yesterday. I was very pleased with that because they're a +2. I know it's only one game, but looking at the lineups of just two player lineups, they are a +2 when Mitchell Robinson and Karl Anthony Towns share the floor, averaging, what is it? It looks like they're averaging 16. No, sorry, they're averaging 20 points with both of them out on the floor. And my apologies, 10 minutes. I'm reading this thing backwards. My eyes are still a little torn after being on a last night show for about 2 to 3 hours. So averaging 20 points in 9 minutes yesterday with both of them sharing the court, especially as we saw in the second quarter. I thought that was the most impactful minutes that we got to see from the Knicks, just because that second quarter, I mean, you have Tobias Harris going off for, a great stretch. You have Malik Beasley just, the entire hoop was looking like the Atlantic Ocean by the way he was draining them yesterday, even for Tim Hardaway Jr. And so for them to get that type of production from those two in the second quarter, especially with Josh Hart and Mikal Bridges in foul trouble, really love to see that. And I think the biggest thing for me is that 21-0 run, because I the defensive intensity has been up and down for the New York Knicks this season. And I know that we discussed last week that the Pistons are prone to being turnover. This is a young team. They play an aggressive style when it comes to the offensive side of the ball. But that 21-0 run, as you mentioned, it's very uncommon to see in today's NBA. And so for the Knicks to not only, defend at that level in the fourth quarter where they needed the most, but then to convert those all into big points. Like, I think if you looked at all of the turnovers and just look at the fast break points, it had to be all of that in the fourth quarter for the Knicks. I mean, sure, they got out and ran a little bit, maybe, but most of those points came in the fourth quarter. And so when you even see that disparity, even though the Pistons won the fast break battle yesterday by a few points, most of that for the Knicks came in the fourth quarter, and they did just a phenomenal job. Those are probably the biggest things for me that impressed me about the Knicks, especially since I was about to break my computer screen watching that game for the first three quarters. I was just a little frustrated, man, a little frustrated. But what did you think the Pistons did well yesterday in that matchup, or just overall?
Yeah, I think Pistons fans and I think the Pistons will walk away from this game feeling like they let one away, but feeling pretty good about how they handled the Knicks and the coverage they were throwing at Cade. Cade, I thought for the first three quarters, he wasn't scoring well, but he was playing well. He was creating a lot of offense for the Pistons. The Knicks, with every single on-ball screen, they were throwing traps, they were throwing doubles at them, they were putting two on the ball. And you mentioned Malik was playing well, THJ was playing well, Tobias was playing well, and all of that was really because Cade was drawing to the ball, and they were playing 4 and 3 in the weak side basically the entire game. Malik was getting open shots the whole game. THJ was getting open shots the whole game. Tobias was getting open middies, open threes all game. So while Cade wasn't scoring himself and he was struggling and figuring out how to open up his own scoring opportunities against the traps and the doubles, I thought the Pistons overall, until that 21-0 run, I mean, they had an 8-point lead in the fourth at one point. They were doing a good job of Cade gets the ball, run a screen and roll, get it out of his hands early, let them attack downhill against a 4 and 3 set. I thought for the most part, the Pistons will walk away from this game saying, until that fourth quarter where it looked like, the veteran team in the Knicks with the veteran coach, with the veteran players, and Jalen Brunson and Cat and Mitchell Robinson and Josh Hart and all these guys who have been in the playoffs before, it looked like that was truly the moment outside the very beginning of the game. The first 2 to 3 minutes, it felt like, okay, you see the Pistons are a little jittery, but then it looked like they settled in and they were playing fine. That fourth quarter, when that run started, that's when you really started to see, okay, this is a young team and you are seeing the playoffs really get to them and they are shaking right now. But until that moment, I thought the Pistons did a great job of handling the traps and handling the blitzing and trying to get looks downhill. I mean, Cade only had 3 turnovers entering that fourth quarter, which you'll take, and then he had, I believe, 3 or 4 in that fourth quarter. So heading into there, I thought they did a good job. They'll take a lot of good things away from this game. I think Knicks fans will probably look at it and say, well, Malik won't shoot this well again. Tobias won't go for 22 and whatever. THA won't do this again. But Pistons fans would then probably say, okay, well, yeah, but the young players won't be this bad again. And somewhat of the THJ, Tobias, Malik going off is a product of how the Knicks are deciding to guard Cade. If they're going to want to double and trap and blitz them, that's going to leave someone else open. And as long as the Pistons can continue to find open guys out of that, I think they'll feel fine. But offensively in the half court, I think they did what they wanted to do. It's just about doing it for, we mentioned it. I was on live stream watching the game, and when the Pistons hit the Knicks with a punch in the end of the third quarter, they go up by 8, and we were like, okay, the Knicks just hit the Knicks with a punch. The Knicks are definitely going to come back and hit their own punch. Let's see how the Pistons respond. The problem was the Pistons couldn't respond to theirs. They didn't just get hit with a punch. They got hit with the uppercut and got knocked out. So the Pistons' problem, what they need to figure out moving into the next game is understand this game, playoffs are full of runs. And as long as you just consistently do what you've been doing all game, you will be fine. But the fourth quarter, that run, they got knocked out. And that was, that's the tough part about it from the Pistons' perspective. But I think they walk away from this game feeling pretty good about overall how they attack the Knicks defense.
And I think when you talk about, there's 2 things that you said. One, I want to just address the game of runs. And, they were even talking about on the ESPN broadcast yesterday. And that's where the veteran savvy team comes in, where each quarter is its own story, right? How you play in the first doesn't necessarily mean how it's going to be the same in the second, third, and even the fourth. And that goes for a guy like even Jalen Brunson. First 2 quarters, he was stinking up the joint, right? Trying to draw contact, trying to get to the free throw line. That wasn't working for him at all, and that was throwing his game off. But then you see after he tweaks his ankle, changed his shoes, man. Can't forget that he changed his shoes. He comes out here and just goes back to being the guy that we're so accustomed to seeing Captain Clutch perform in the fourth quarter and then just orchestrate the run that they had. And so, you talk about that veteran experience, and that's where, like, I still give this team the edge. And look, I know that this is still, it's only game one. And just like the team, you can't get too high. You can't go get too low after a win or after a loss. It is a 7-game series. And so even as me, I'm taking it game by game. But the thing that this team just has is that veteran experience, knowing like what it is, what it feels like to be like, all right, we're down right now. What do we got to do to lock up and get back into this thing? And to your point on what the Pistons did, that was what was so frustrating. It's that, and this is where, like, I want the Knicks just to do what they did that fourth quarter and do it throughout all 4 quarters. And yeah, we had this once again, going back to our conversation last week, it's the inconsistency and the attention to detail, right? Because the Knicks didn't play their best game, and you can say the Pistons didn't play their best game either. Cade didn't play, what you're expecting out of Cade. You could talk about Thompson getting into foul trouble, Josh Hart, Mikal Bridges getting into foul trouble. There was just some turnovers. JB didn't have his best game either, as we mentioned in the first half. A lot of that came down to taking advantage of the inexperience of what the Pistons of the Pistons in that fourth quarter. But that still gives me confidence that even though the Knicks didn't play well, that they can still reach another gear and just take it up another notch, be that dominant team that I've seen them play before. Even Deuce McBride, airballing shots, man. That's a guy that we rely on. He was airballing shots. And so I believe that they can reach another gear in this series. Do you think the Pistons can reach another gear in this series?
Yeah, for sure. I don't think the part of it is I don't think either team played their best game in the first game, but I think a lot of that has to do with the defense that both teams were playing. I don't know if I wouldn't be shocked if at any point in this series anyone's feeling like they feel like they played an A+ game, because I think this is going to be a grind, a hard-fought series where every single game is going to feel like, oh, you probably could have done this better, you probably could have done that. But I think both teams are going to put a number on each other. So. But I do think the Pistons haven't, like you mentioned, Cade did not play well from a scoring perspective. He wasn't able to get to those spots scoring-wise. I feel like in the fourth quarter, he started to, it was late, but I think he split a few traps at the end there. I think he's probably going to look to do that a little bit more instead of escape dribbling and baiting out the trap a little more. I think he's probably going to try to be a little more aggressive against the trap and try to split it. But, yeah, I look, Beasley was good. The veterans are all good for the Pistons. Beasley, Harris, and THJ. But Cade did not score well. Osar didn't have his best game. Jalen Duren was not very good at all in this game. The young guys were not good for the Pistons. So you'd hope that, yeah, maybe Tobias doesn't go off for, 19 in the first half or something. Yeah, Tobias doesn't do that. But you probably hope that Cade doesn't go 3 of 11 in the first half again. Like, is Cade going to go – is he going to start off 1 of 8, 1 of 9 again? I would assume not. Is Tobias going to start off, 8 of 8 or whatever he was? Probably not, but it'll balance itself out. The Pistons got to just hope that, as they play more games and as they get more experience underneath their belt, that their young guys do start to play a little better and start to be a little more confident and start to play more consistent. Because, like I said, again, Asar didn't play his best game. Could have been, but he missed a wide open dunk on a fast break. Like, that doesn't happen. Asar misses a wide open dunk, doesn't play well. Jalen Duren, we talked about it last week. Right out the gate, the Pistons put Duren on Hart and put Tobias on Cat and try to do that matchup defensively. And even then, Duren wasn't he got 3-second violations on defense. Like, that's just lack of attention to detail and being a young player. So if the Pistons could get a game where their veterans and their young guys all play together in the same game, I think that's obviously their peak. You got half of that in the game one. So, yeah, they have another gear they can unlock. But I think the Pistons, again, after listening to some of the comments they've made and the coach made and Cade's made, I feel like they feel like the game went how they wanted it to go until the fourth quarter came, and they just were not able to respond to the Knicks run. I feel like they'll take Cade shooting. I don't know what he was shooting entering the fourth quarter, but they'll take it if it means, okay, the Knicks are just going to double him and give the Pistons 4-3 and just let them attack with an extra man. If that's what the series has to be, then we'll accept that. I think that's what the Pistons mentality is. We'll see if they're able to, handle the runs that the Knicks will have. If they can't, this will be a quick series because the Knicks will definitely have explosive runs. They're a very explosive offensive team. But yeah, I think they definitely have another ceiling they can unlock to and get to. And I feel like the Pistons feel like they were close. They just need their best player to hit some more shots. And maybe Asar not miss open dunks and Duren, Duren not Duren not be caught standing in the paint 3 times just guarding nobody. So
Man.
they can be better.
Salute to Knicks Nation. Thank you all for tuning in for another game of the week preview. Make sure to hit that thumbs up button for your boys. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. Okay, I got my guy Koo on the other side with me. He covers the Pistons for Locked On Pistons. Make sure to go give him a follow and check him out over there. Look, man, I know it's gonna be a good series. Make sure to tap in and get all aspects of how the series is about to unfold. Cool, you're talking about the youth, you're talking about the veterans. Well, there's one guy, and I know that this guy is very important to you. I got to catch your coverage on Twitter, on X last night, I should say. So I got to hear your rapid reactions after this. Isaiah Stewart, man, Beef Stew, as your fan base calls him, had some imaging done today, according to Ian Begley after game one. He exited the fourth quarter at the very start of the Knicks' big run yesterday. And he was laboring after that monstrous dunk, man. You saw how he landed and he was hobbling back. What's the status of Isaiah Stewart right now, and how critical is he to this team?
So we don't have any update as of right now on whether he's going to play or not. He's questionable as of right now. The Pistons, if they don't have Stu, this is going to be a very hard series to keep up. If they do not have Stu on the floor, if he's not able to play, this could be a quick series. And I know Pistons fans won't want to hear that, but Stu is that important to this team. If you just look at the plus minus of the first game, he was a +8 in a 11-point loss, and Duren was a -17. The run started for the Knicks when Stu went out of the game. When they took Duren off the floor and went with Stu, and I mentioned this last week, this might be an Isaiah Stewart series. This is an Isaiah Stewart matchup because he's a better defender. He's better on the perimeter. He brings more things for the Pistons in this matchup against Cat, and the Pistons were winning his minutes. And if he doesn't get hurt, I wouldn't be shocked if the Pistons just had closed with him the rest of the way. They've done that multiple times this year. So if they don't have him, it's going to be very rough to try to pull this, pull the series out to win 2 games. It's going to be really hard to do without Isaiah Stewart. He's that important to their defense. You saw, we just joked around a little bit about Duren getting 3-second violations, but Duren is not that type of defender. You saw the Knicks went at him multiple times. They tried to get him out in space. And the other thing that the Knicks kind of took advantage of was the Pistons put Duren on Hart to allow him to roam, but it felt like Duren wasn't really, having the impact that you would like him to do. Like, Cat still went off on 13 shots for 23 points, and he only took 3 threes. A lot of his work was done in the paint. The whole point of doing that matchup where you have Duren roaming off of Hart is to, as soon as Cat puts the ball on the ground, you're sending a double at him. You're sending him in gaps, so where he can't get looks at the rim, and yet the Pistons were able to stop that. But when they had Stu on the floor, their defense was a lot better. You saw even on that play he got hurt. I believe the play he got hurt on was the one. Well, he did get hurt on the put-back dunk, but I think he got it re-injured again when he blocked. I forget who it was at the rim. He blocked someone at the rim early in 8-minute mark, 9-minute mark of the fourth quarter. Pistons go out on a fast break. Malik Beasley corner 3, Knicks timeout. Those are the kind of plays that Stu makes for them, and his defense and rim protection allows them to get out in transition, out in fast break, and score quickly, which is where they really thrive at. They don't thrive in the half court. They thrive getting out and running, and that comes from getting stops. So without Stu, it's going to be really rough. Pistons fans hope that he's healthy, hope that he's able to play. But like you mentioned, he really was. He was really laboring even after the first quarter. After the first half, you saw him limping still. So I don't know if he's going to be able to play. If he isn't, it's going to be really rough. You're probably going to see Paul Reed minutes for the Pistons, but Duren's importance is going to rise even more if Stu is out, because they're going to need him to pick it up defensively, and I'm not sure he's going to be able to.
Did you say Paul Reed?
Yes, Paul Reed is the Pistons' third center.
Paul Reed, huh? Oh, welcome back, Paul Reed. Some guy was talking about the Knicks last year. Please, I'll have some Paul Reed minutes on the course, so that way he can get cooked again by the Knicks, man. I'm just telling you right now, because that man was talking a lot last season. He was talking a lot for a guy who didn't average a lot. All right? So welcome back, Paul Reed. If Isaiah Stewart can't go, make sure to get flambéed while you're out there. All right, man. Look, for Isaiah Stewart being out, I think even with him being there, you still saw Cat get some of his shots off. I mean, the way that he was attacking yesterday, even against Jalen Duren, and look, even the matchup with Tobias Harris on him, Cat was still able to find a groove, get to his spots in the paint. Cat was phenomenal yesterday. I mean, defensively is what really impressed me with Cat's performance. That was probably the best all-around game as a Knick. I know everybody has said it. JD has said it. CP has said it. I mean, if you just go back and watch the film, that dude battled through physicality, and I mean, we didn't even get to see a lot of the pick and pop yesterday. So, I'm I'm waiting for that for Tibbs to unleash that. That might be another adjustment if the Pistons make an adjustment to just slow what the Knicks are capable of doing, which is getting to the paint, man. And that's an area where the Pistons thrive at defending the paint. What's the adjustment now for the Pistons, man? Because the Knicks got inside, they were able to attack the paint. They look pretty comfortable, even though with the resistance. How do the Pistons adjust now after what the Knicks did in Game 1?
I mean, again, I feel like the Pistons are walking away from this game thinking they let one slip and they should have won the game. I don't think there's much for them to adjust.
They're not going back to the drawing board. They're not saying, "Hey, these are some different things. This is not some different looks we got to draw up to stop the Knicks."
No, I don't think. Like, they generate a lot of threes. They got a lot of wide open shots. Malik got off because he was generating open shots. Tobias got off because he got a lot of open shots. THJ got off because he got a lot of open shots. The Pistons strategy is simple. If the Knicks want to put 2 on ball versus Cade get the ball at your hands quickly and get your shooters wide open shots. The Pistons did a good job. Another counter that you can do, which they were doing. If you want to put 2 on ball, then we're going to get Brunson involved in the action. We're going to bring a shooter involved, and we're going to set ghost screens. And that's what they did for the majority of this game, and a lot of it led to wide open shots for Malik. Malik comes up, sets a screen on ball. Brunson wants to show because they don't want to switch him onto him. He shows. Malik slips out of it. Malik wide open 3 in the wing. Malik slips out of it. Now you got 2-on-1 on the weak side. Mikal Bridges now has to check him or Harris. Harris gets a wide open left corner 3. That's something the Pistons, if that's how the Knicks want to play this, that's how the Pistons will play the rest of the series. And if it means that Cade won't score 25 points a game, they're fine with that. Cade's a smart player. He knows that if this is what the defense is going to call for him to do, that's what is going to have to happen. My assumption is the Knicks probably won't continue to do that every single time. They'll probably try to switch up some defensive coverages because that is something Tibbs said, that you don't want to give them the same coverage over and over, and especially if the shooters are hitting shots. Offensively, I don't think there's anything for them to adjust to. If this is how the Knicks want to play, continue to do what you were doing throughout this game. Again, they had an 8-point lead in this fourth quarter. All they had to do, they simply got knocked out, and their youth really came through. They looked as soon as the Knicks went on this run, the Pistons took the first time out. The young guys looked like they were like shook a little bit. You saw Tobias and Dennis Schroeder trying to calm them down, telling them relax. You saw them being animated on the floor. I think that's what bit them more than anything. But strategy-wise, offensively, they did exactly what they wanted them to do. If they want to trap, that's what we'll have to do. Now, if they want to go back to drop, which they did it sparingly throughout the game, the few times they did go to it, Cade split a trap, got to a mid-range jumper, got to his look. So I doubt the Knicks switch that up and go back to a drop or anything. But yeah, offensively, I don't think there's anything to change. Defensively, if Duren's not, the only thing I would change defensively is if Duren is not going to be able to roam off of Hart and make an impact on Cat around the basket, you put Duren on. I mean, this is something I would test out maybe just to see how it would go. Maybe you put Duren on Cat and you put Asar on Hart, so Asar can then roam off the ball and just kind of try to cause havoc. Asar is really good in that scenario. Then you just trap. Maybe you want to trap Brunson or just play hard in the gaps. That's something you can do. The Pistons really would like Duren to be able to make an impact off of Hart. That's how they want to play. So I don't think they'll change that. But if there is a defensive strategy they could change to, if Duren's just struggling with that and is not able to, then I guess that's the change. But I don't really see what it is that they could. I think their game plan worked for the most part. They just fell apart late in, when young teams usually fall apart at.
I don't think you want to change up defensively what you're doing right now. I mean, look, I know that Brunson didn't even really figure it out until the fourth quarter yesterday, and I expect Brunson to have a better start than he did yesterday, but that was probably the best look you're going to get. If you're not going to have your best defender on Brunson, then you're just going to allow Brunson to cook. I'm just going to say that like flat out. Brunson will go get his, and then you have to adjust it again. I just think that's what's going to happen. With regards to stopping Cade, I think you need Cade. Personally, I think you need Cade to be doing more scoring than he did yesterday. I mean, he went 8 for 21. He was passing the ball like there was no tomorrow. He got 12 assists and got 6 boards. He got his 21. got to the free throw line a decent amount. Went 4 or 5. But I think you're just gonna need a little bit more out of Cade if you're really gonna shift this series, man. And the way that OG was defending him, I don't know if there's gonna be another way that you can just get past the guy who, as I mentioned, it's like this is why I wanted OG on Cade. The strength, the versatility, it's just there. You can see that he frustrated him. I know they're not probably gonna do the same amount of blitzing, although I wouldn't be shocked if Tibbs does it, ask calls for it in certain situations. But you're gonna need more, in my opinion. You're gonna need more out of Cade than what you got out of this if you're trying to keep up with what the Knicks were doing. I mean, that he tried to will them back into it in that fourth quarter after that run. But you're gonna need your stars to deliver that blow, man. Especially if I'm gonna be hearing, I'm not saying that you're saying, but if I'm hearing that Cade is the best player in the series, man, you gotta have to do a little bit more than that.
So let me respond to that. So I mean, let's look at the coverages that both players are facing. Brunson's playing against a solo 1-on-1 with Asar most of the time. The Pistons aren't really trapping Brunson as much because the Knicks have more spacing on the floor, so they're not really trapping Brunson. So Brunson's being given more space, and they're allowing him to go 1-on-1 with Asar, and they're just trusting Asar to win the matchup. OG is doing a good job on Cade, but Cade probably saw 30 plus traps and blitzes yesterday. It's going to be hard to score if you're going to have two guys on it. There's a clip going around. I know a Clips person, or not Clips, a Knicks person tweeted this out. There's a clip of I believe they were saying that I think it was Schroeder or Beasley was playing like football or something. They were playing like a linebacker, kind of holding OG or something in a screen, whatever. But like Cade comes around the screen, gets Brunson on the switch, extends it all the way to the right side of the floor to really keep the switch, and OG is still following him, and they double him all the way over in the corner. So if the Knicks are going to send 2-3 bodies at Cade every single time he touches the ball, it's going to be hard for him to score, which is why I'd rather Cade. If the Knicks are going to make it their personal mission that, Cade, you're not going to get any clean looks, we're going to send 2 to 3 guys at you every single time you touch the ball, then the best way for the Pistons to win is to just hit their open guys and hope they win shots. You'd rather give it to your open guys and let them hit shots than Cade force the issue and try to score over 2 or 3 guys. There's maybe 2 or 3 shots I feel like yesterday Cade should have hit that he usually does, but for the most part, I feel like a lot of the shots he was taking at times were just forced shots because he felt like I have to score, I have to take this shot. Whereas the Pistons don't feel like that's, like JB came out and said it himself. The Pistons don't want that from Cade. That's not what this is how the defense wants to guard you, you don't need to force the issue. If the defense calls for you to score 10 points or shoot 10 times because they want to trap you every time you get the ball, then it is what it is. They tried numerous times to get the switch on Brunson and Payne, and the few times they did get the switch, OG was still chasing. He was still chasing, and they would still double, which is why like Malik got open threes, while THA got open threes. It's very clear to me that the Knicks said, we don't believe Malik, THA, and Tobias can beat us. We don't believe they will consistently hit this many threes. We do believe Cade can beat us, so therefore we will just trap and double him every time. And if Tobias and Malik, THA, hit enough shots to actually win you guys a game, then so be it. We don't think it's going to happen 4 times. I think that's what Tibbs basically said in this first game.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. And look, I'm not saying for Cade he has to go start shooting over 2-3 defenders. I'm still just saying that you're going to need more than what he gave you yesterday night if you're going to try to have, like, even like, to me, to even extend the series, because I just don't see Timmy and all those guys, like, as you just pointed out, you said at the beginning of the show, I just don't see how you're going to expect Timmy, Tobias, and Malik to consistent. Maybe Malik Beasley, he did shoot the 3 ball very well this year, especially from the corner. I do know that. All right, maybe he will continue to shoot threes well, and Timmy and Tobias, though, I'm just not 100% sure, man. I'm just not 100% sure on that.
Well, they'll have to. I think that's the solution, or the problem the Knicks are going to give them. It's very clear to me that the Knicks have decided very early that we are not going to let Cade beat you. We will not let Cade beat us. It's not going to happen. So if THA, Malik, and Tobias are not able to do it, then the Pistons are probably going to lose this series. I can't imagine the Knicks not continuing to send doubles and traps at Cade. The Pistons are going to need their guys to score, these role players to hit open shots. The majority of the Pistons offense needs to come from defense. They have to get stops and they have to get out in transition. That's when they're going to have to score a lot, which if Stu's hurt, then it's going to be, it's rough. It's going to be tough to do so.
Salute to Knicks Nation. Thank you all for tuning in for another KFTV Game of the Week preview. With me on this side is my guy, Ku Kahil. All right, he covers the Pistons for Locked On Pistons. Make sure to give him a follow over there and check out his Great work. All right. And shout out to the franchise channel members in here. I see Big V from Harlem in here. Shout out to you. I see Timothy Danzler in here. Who else we got, man? I see. Let me keep it going. I see Alex Dune in here. Shout out to you. I see Jay Rose in here. Shout out to everybody who's coming through. Courtney J. Shout out to you. Shout out to all you for tuning in for another game of the week preview. Respect Shack in here as well. Fabian in here. Isaiah knows hoops. Shout out to all you guys. All right. And hey, remember, this show is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Use that promo code KFTV to get up to $1,000 in instant bonus cash and a free pick. And people, let me tell you something. I love playing Underdog Fantasy. I got to win a little bit of money last night. All right. So the cool thing about Underdog is that you get to make a ticket between 2 to 8 players. The more players that you choose, the higher likelihood that you may have a chance of winning more money. Now, obviously, getting 8 players right is difficult, but hey, those are the odds, right? Those are the odds that you take. But hey, on top of that, what I do like about creating the ticket is that all you got to do to make it simple is just choose higher or lower on any statistical category. Points, rebounds, assists, doesn't matter. And you don't even have to choose all NBA or all NHL. You can mix and match the sports. So if you want to choose your players from NBA, NHL, and even baseball right now, you can certainly do that. And yesterday I did get a little bit of money. Talked about it on post game live last night. So make sure to go check and see how I did fare. All right, got a little cash back for Jokic getting higher than his points. Brunson hitting over his points. Randall hitting under on his points, rebounds, assists. Just needed Josh Hart, man. Just needed Josh Hart to get over 11.5 boards. I could have won the big one. But hey, that's all you can do over at Underdog Fantasy. Or you can create a ticket. And if you want to put your GM cap on and compete with your friends in daily fantasy, you can do that as well. Just make sure to go download the app and use our promo code KFTV to get up to $1,000 in instant bonus cash and a free pick. All right. All right, cool. Let's talk about one more thing and then get on out of here. Who needs to step up for tomorrow, man? Who do you need to see bounce back to get this thing back on the track for the Pistons?
I mean, well, obviously, Cade, you'd like Cade not to shoot 8 of 21. So I mean, that would be like the easy answer. I'm not going to go with Cade, though, because that's obviously expected. If Stu is out, it has to be Duren, because I just don't see how they're going to be able to win without Stu. So you're going to absolutely, and I mistakenly said Stu, that Duren was a minus 17, or he was a minus 20 in his minutes. Stu was a plus 8 in his minutes. So the Pistons won Stu's minutes. Without Stu, I just don't see how they're going to be able to sustain defensively. So if Stu's out, Duren's going to have to really, really dominate inside, especially at times. Like the Knicks, another thing I saw the Knicks did that were very clear to me was they sold out completely on the defensive glass. They had got 3-4 guys boxing out Duren at times to stop him from really dominating the second chance points and really getting going on the glass. He only had 6 rebounds in this game. He wasn't able to affect the game really on the offensive glass. So the Knicks are trying to take him out the game. If Stu is out, Duren has to be able to play well defensively, be more attentive, be more, aware of his surroundings, not pick up 3 defensive second violation. But like, you can't have that happen. Duren, if Stu's out, has to be the guy that steps up, because they can't play Paul Reed 20 minutes. Like, that's not, they can't do that. If Stu's out, Duren's going to have to play 35 plus minutes, and he's going to have to play well defensively in those minutes. If Stu is available, they're going to need Asar to play better. I expect, if Stu is healthy, I expect him to close with Stu a lot of times if Duren's not having it, and a lot of us feel comfortable with that. Asar, start out the gate, was playing well defensively, got downhill, went at Brunson in the post, scored, and then immediately picked up his second foul and had to sit for the next 12 minutes, 15 minutes. That Pistons can't afford him to do that. He's too valuable for him to be sitting out like that. Then the second half, third quarter starts. He had probably his best run of the game. That's when the Pistons really came back and took the lead. And then after that, in the fourth quarter, he had a few dumb turnovers, threw a pass out of bounds. He was part of the Pistons that it seemed like they kind of got shell-shocked by the Knicks run that they went on. They need Asar to stay composed, continue to play well defensively, continue to play well on Brunson when he's in those one-on-one situations. And then, again, just keep your composure offensively when the Knicks hit a run. I think that's the Pistons' biggest thing. I guarantee that's probably the main thing that JB Bickerstaff is saying to his team right now is, guys, we were right in that game. We were up by 8. We just have to understand that this Knicks team is very explosive offensively. They will have runs. We cannot allow an 8-0 run, a 9-0 run to knock us out and then turn into a 21-0 run. You can't come back from a 21-0 run. You can come back from a 20-5 run. You can come back from an 18-3 run. You're not coming back from 21 straight in the fourth quarter. It's not happening. So, especially after they called that first time. They had already called a timeout early in that run, and then it just didn't matter. They just kept going. So, I think the main thing is these guys have to stay composed. Asar has to stay composed throughout the entire game and not get in foul trouble. But if Stu's out, it's 100,000% Jalen Duren has to turn it around, has to play extreme low. He still has to play better, but it will be even more heightened if Stu is actually out the game. They will desperately need him to be better.
All right, so you're going with Duren as the main guy. For me, I'm going to go with. I know some people are going to think Mikal Bridges. I actually thought Mikal Bridges played fine yesterday. Played solid defense. Gave a good offensive production when the Knicks needed shots in the first quarter. I'm not going to go with Bridges. His time will arrive when he will have his night against the Pistons. I'm going with Miles McBride, man. Miles McBride, I need you to shoot better. You can't be airballing. I need better defense. I need you just to be productive in your minutes out on the court. I feel like he could be another game changer. Well, campaign, I know he's the type of guy that can just take the wind right out of his sails, man. He did that yesterday, had a critical fourth quarter for the Knicks. But it's going to have to be McBride, man. We saw McBride be a little bit more consistent during the regular season. Can't always rely on campaign. Hey, if campaign has a great series against the Pistons, hats off to him, man. He did a phenomenal job yesterday. No shade to campaign. But I'm going with my guy, Miles McBride. They got to figure out how to get him activated. Maybe a little bit of rhythm was thrown off when they went with Landry Shamet yesterday. But I'm going with Miles McBride. All right, cool. I appreciate you coming through. So you got Duren. I got McBride. Appreciate you coming through, Koo. Please let the people know where they can find you. If you got any work up and coming, we should be on the lookout for.
Yeah, you guys can find me over on Twitter at Kookhill. You guys can find Locked On Pistons on whatever podcast platform you listen to. Also can find it over on YouTube at Locked On Pistons. I just dropped a film breakdown for the first game over on my Substack. Have daily content coming on over there, written and film breakdowns almost every single day. Got content coming out all kinds of different ways, especially throughout this series. Appreciate you guys having me. Hopefully it's a good, fun series. Hope everyone can be healthy so we can have a fully healthy series. But if Stu's down, that's going to be really disappointing. But yeah, appreciate you guys having me. Hopefully the series is a lot of fun. Game 1, despite the Pistons loss, I thought was really fun. So hopefully we get a lot of games like that.
It was certainly a good game, man. Certainly a good game. I mean, I'm happy that the Knicks won, but it was still a battle through and through. Salute to Knicks Nation. Thank you all for tuning in for another Game of the Week preview. Make sure to give Koo a follow. Make sure that thumbs up button for your boys. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. Okay, make sure to support our sponsor, Underdog Fantasy. Use that promo code KFTV to get up to $1,000 in instant bonus cash and a free pick. Also, make sure to go to KnicksFanTV.com to go get your tickets. All right, make sure to go get your tickets so that way you can go be at the watch party tomorrow at the Amesworth. Okay, starting at 5:30 p.m. sharp. All right, so make sure to get there at 5:30 p.m. so that we can go catch the game. We got probably a guy, DJ Eric L. Beats back on the ones and twos. So make sure to go support. Make sure to head out over there. All right, everyone, we'll catch you later. Make sure to stay tuned and locked in for tomorrow where we got play-by-play and post-game. All right, we out.